Hello. I see 12 people are here. All right, Suman. Suman Adak is here. You're audible. I hope I'm audible now. Also, Mercury is retrograde, so I have to keep cross-checking always. Am I audible or not? All right, Pranam, happy Dasera. YT channel is saying hi. Mohini ji is saying happy Dasera. Thank you. Same to you. Vishal ji saying Sitaram. Jai Siya Ram. Astro Nikhil is saying happy Dasera. Thank you. Thank you. Same to you. Lalit Kumar. Jai Shri Ram. Vedic Astrol. Namaste from Florida. Oh, great to see you from US. Roxane Miller is saying Ram. All right, Kunal Kishore Singh is saying happy Dashera. All right, thank you so much for joining. And I had announced on a short notice in YouTube, but I thought why not do a live session on Dashera today. And today, after I complete this recording, this live, I will also be doing a recording with Navneet Chitkaraji from Vyasa Astro channel, and we will be discussing on what are the factors that can lead to cancellation of Manglik dosha. Okay, so today is a very special day. This is that one special day that comes every year. Monica Wag is saying happy Dasera. Thank you. Same to you. Ahona Mukherjee is saying Shubha Vijaya from okay. Yes, today is also Vijayadashami. Yes, you are right. Okay. Sambhavi 1111 is saying Jai Shri Ram. Very, very happy Vijayadashami. All right. So today is also the day when uh, we celebrate Vijayadashami along with the Sera. Both the festivals are together. Well, at an external level, this festival is very significant. There are a lot of things that happen. For example, effigies of Ravana are burned in some places. We like in Assam, West Bengal, and the Northeast. Primarily, these two states. We have Durga Puja celebrations, right? But what I have seen from my childhood is these festivals are more celebrated in an external way, which is not bad, but that's incomplete without the internal understanding. Okay, so internally, what is going on? And one of the things that happens also is we try to artificially link these festivals to some contemporary social issues that are going on in society, right? There are so many issues which could be going on, which is also not wrong, but the thrust of these festivals is that we should get out of the conception of this material world, right? And we should try to do things in a way that elevate our consciousness. So that's the prime agenda of these festivals. So having said that, it means we should be doing things during these festivals, and especially on auspicious days like today, like Vijayadashami, Dashera, which enhances our spiritual life, which will make our spiritual progress steep. Okay, which will grant us a steep spiritual progress. And along with that, we also have the Navaratri, the last 9 days, which are celebrated in accordance to the nine divine forms of Adi Shakti, Goddess Durga. She's Goddess Durga. She's the Bahiranga Shakti of Lord Vishnu. Okay, Bahiranga Shakti is the external potency which manifests through this material realm. Okay, so she is the Bahiranga Shakti, and Antaranga Shakti is Lakshmi Devi actually. Okay, so so what does the Bahiranga Shakti do in this material world? She does everything, right? So Anjali Sharma is here. Preeti Falkeji is also here. Namaste, Preeti ji. Good to see you after a long time. Priyam Tiwari Shubha Vijayadashami. Anjali Sharma is asking, how are you? I'm fine, madam. I hope you're good too. Priyam Tiwari ji is saying hello. Yes, hello. All right. Okay. So now, where was I? Yes, what I was telling was that it's very important that we um, understand the essence of these festivals. Okay, so therefore it's very crucial that whenever we are celebrating these festivals at a mundane level, we should also try to go and find what's the real meaning, the real essence. Like for Navaratri, as I was saying, the external potency of Lord Vishnu, the Bahiranga Shakti, manifests as Durga Devi, who is also known as Maya Devi. The word Durg means a fortress. Okay, A means the keeper. So Durga Devi is like the keeper of the fortress. All right, so Rahul K. Rahul Kullarji is here, I hope. Ram Ram, sir. Ram Ram. Nice to see you. Okay, welcome, sir. Rahulji is a very special personality. Maybe we can do a joint recording someday. Okay, so what is the meaning of this word? This word Durga. So Durga means the keeper of this material world, right? So the thing is, when we hear the word keeper of a fortress, then we wonder, oh, this world is like a fortress. What's going on? What is she keeping around, right? So yes, this material world is like a jail, as Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. This material world is dukhalayam shashvatam. Yes, and when I speak of this material world, it's essential for us to understand the 14 planetary systems, because the planetary system where we are currently living, we means you, me, and all the 40-45 people who have joined in the live session, and all the hundreds and thousands of people who will be watching this likely, they all of us, we are situated in Bhuloka. Okay, so Bhuloka is the seventh planetary system. Okay, within this material universe. So the material universe, the material world has many millions and billions and trillions and unlimited number of material universes. Okay, so every universe is known as Brahmanda. So that's like Brahma Anda. Okay, so every universe has one Brahma. Brahma is like the creator of that particular universe. So Brahmaji resides in the topmost of all the planetary systems within one material universe. Okay, which is known as, of course, Brahmaloka, Satyaloka. And then we have Brahmaloka is there, which is also known as Satyaloka, of course. And then, Tapaloka, Jnana and then finally in between Swarga Loka is there. And then we finally land up in the seventh layer, which is Bhuloka. Okay, and within Bhuloka also um, there are different varshas. Okay, there are different dvipas actually. Okay, dvipas are islands, and within islands there are varshas. Varshas are like places. Okay, so for example, uh, where we stay, this we say that we stay in Bhuloka, but within Bhuloka we stay inside Jambu Dweep. Okay, and within Jambu Dweep we stay in Bharatvarsha. So Bharatvarsha is not only India that we know. Current day India, it's like the Indian peninsula, not that. So according to the scriptures, this the entire earth that we know of today is like the is actually known as Bharatvarsha. Okay, and Bharatvarsha is a part of Jambudweep, which is the central island. Um, I mean, it's a part of Bharatvarsha, along with eight other varshas are part of the Jambudweep. Okay, and then like Jambudweep, there are different other dweeps within this Bhuloka. Right, so it's a very vast system of cosmology and astronomy, which is mentioned in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I would suggest anybody who is more inquisitive about the things that I just said to read from the fifth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, so the material world, Durga Devi, she is the keeper of not only this Bharatvarsha, which is our earth, which is inside Jambudvipa, which is inside the Bhuloka, which is inside the Brahmanda, okay, which is inside the entire material energy, right? So she is the controller of all the entire material worlds put together, everything combined. Of course, she is not independent, or she's not like doing things of her own. It's like we ourselves, we do, we commit, we do karmas, and by that we get the reaction. So she's the one who oversees all these affairs, okay. And goddess Durga, she she has incarnated time and again into different forms whenever it was needed. Like similarly, as Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya ch dushkitam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, time and again I incarnate, I come to this material world, okay. So Lord Krishna, he comes in one day, once in one day of Brahma. So one day of Brahma has 1000 manus. So Brahmaji lives for 100 years, okay. And every day of Brahma has 1000 manus. And um, it is sorry, not 1000 manus, it's 1000 Divya Yugas, okay. And 1000 Divya Yugas are divided into 14 manus. So imagine in a day you are meeting 14 people from morning till the night. It's like that. So in one day of Brahma, 14 manus, they come and they go, and every manu has their own set of demigods, like all the grahas that you see, like Surya, Chandra, Indra also, and Varuna, all the Lokpalas, Dikpalas, all of them, they are they are within one manu. So all of their lifespan primarily is maximum up to 1 manvantara, which is 1/14th of a day of Brahma. So once this time passes away, and if you divide 1000 by 14, it comes up to 72 Divya Yugas. Okay. And every Divya Yug is combination of Satyug, Dwapar Yug, Treta Yug, and Kali Yug. So these four yugas combined, one cycle makes one Mahayuga or Divya Yug. So like that, if you go 72 times, actually 71 and a bit more, then you reach the life of one Manu. Okay, so all these devatas, that is their lifespan actually. So um, then there's a new Manu which comes, right? And from the word Manu comes Manushya actually. So Manushya, humans are nothing but they are the descendants, direct descendants of Manu Maharaj. Okay, and then a new Manu comes, and then there are new set of devatas like this. So like this, 14 Manus are gone. Then the day is over, and night of Lord Brahma, Sandhya begins, and then night begins. The next day again there is creation, and again the morning the Manu appears, like that. Okay, so like this is like one day, and then like this there are 100 years. Okay, one day. So total lifespan of Lord Brahma is very long. It's around 311 trillion years, okay, as per human calculation. But why am I saying all this? The interesting thing is Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino arjunaha. He says, even if you go to Brahmaloka, even if you go to Satyaloka, Brahma Bhuvana Loka. He says Bhuvar Loka is another planetary system like Bhuloka, Bhuvar Loka, Mahar Loka, Swarga Loka, Jana Loka, Jnana Loka, Tapa Loka, Satya Loka. So even if you go to these planetary systems which are above Bhuloka, right? Punaravarti Arjuna, which means you will again come back to this Bhuloka. You will again come back to this earth. And this means that wherever you go, even if you go to the higher planetary systems, you will still have to come back here, right? Well, then you may be wondering, then why are we coming back to Bhuloka, right? What's the main purpose? So the thing is, Bhuloka is a place where we have a chance to create karma. Okay. Now it doesn't mean that in Swargaloka or in other lokas you don't create karma, but the higher planetary systems, they are primarily for, it's like vacation time. When you have too much money, you what do you do? Generally, people, they go on vacation and they have good time, right? So the higher planetary systems are like the it's like vacation spots. So every time you go there, there is a fixed amount of time that you stay there. Okay. And then once that time is over, like you have one you have $10,000, right, which is around seven and 7.5 lakh Indian rupees. You stay at a big nice fancy hotel for 15 days and you wipe out all your money, right? You have all the best luxuries. So that's like Swargaloka. Then above that, you have like all this different higher lokas like Tapaloka, Jnana Loka, where all these yogis reside, all the Gyanis. So all of them reside, and then Brahmaloka is the topmost. And it is said in Brahmaloka, the bodies of the residents of Brahmaloka is purely made of intelligence, right? Like we have Panch Mahabhut in our body, right? We have earth, water, air, fire, ether, all this, right? But then we have mind, intelligence, and false ego, man, buddhi, ahankar, 8 elements. But the residents of Satyaloka, their body is only made of intelligence. So Brahmaji's body is purely made of intelligence, right? Now it's difficult for us to imagine how can somebody's body be made only of intelligence, right? But that's how it is. The residents of the higher planetary systems, their bodies are very, very, very subtle. Their bodies are not gross like ours. Okay. But again, why am I saying all this? Because whichever planetary system you go, either it's above or there are 7 planetary systems below, like Atal, Vital, Sutal, Patal, Talatal, Mahatal, Patal, like this, 7 maybe. I'm not correct with the order, if anybody can correct me. But these are the planetary systems below, and outside of these, below these, outside of these, is the 28 special hellish planets where sinful living entities go. So, therefore, Krishna says that wherever you go, either you are in Bhuloka or you are above it or you are below it, you come to here, you come back to Bhuloka, you take birth again as a human. Why? Because Bhuloka is a place where uh, there is a mixture of enjoyment and suffering, right? There's some level of enjoyment in in this earthly planet. If you see, pleasure of money, luxury, sexuality, emotions, or royalty, or whatever, respect, name, fame, power, position, authority, it's there to a certain level. But after 100 years, of 120, nobody is able to exercise their power. Or even you talk of beauty, you won't always remain beautiful, right? For 1,000 years, it's very limited, and you go. And then you also see there is suffering here, right? People die, akal mrityu is there, you get accidents, and you get diseases, so many problems are there. But the thing is, although there is suffering, although there is pleasure, but both are there almost equally. Like, for example, you have equal amount of happiness, but of course, because this is the material world, that even though it's equal, but it's only equal in theory, which means the suffering is much, 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 much more than pleasure. Okay. So, for example, if you take any random day of your life, what is the probability that you could get some most amazing, wonderful news, right? Or what's the probability that something amazing can happen, right? What's the probability? Yes, it could happen. Good things happen sometimes. Something extraordinary, something too good happening with us. Well, it's very less, right? But now, if I ask you, what is the probability that in any given day something can go wrong, right? You could experience some kind of suffering. You would say yes, it's very much probable, right? So your teeth could fall off, you would meet with an accident, or anything can happen. Even if it doesn't happen to you, it could happen with some family member or anybody, right? So therefore the probability of anything going wrong is much 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 more than anything going right. So that's how the material world is, okay. But among amidst of all this, we have to understand, Krishna says that you anyways come back here. So this is the place, the Bhuloka is a place where we have an opportunity to perfect our lives spiritually and go back to the spiritual world, which is beyond the 14 planetary systems, okay. So it means that, so see, it's like when you go to the higher planetary systems, the analogy is given, as I said, it's like vacation. So when you are in vacation, what happens? You go, you enjoy, and you come back to your home. Or the lower planetary systems is like punishment or suffering, or there are the hellish planets, right? Low consciousness. There you go, and you stay for a certain amount of time, and then you again come back here. It's like a person who has been sent to jail, or something like imprisonment, or some not such a nice place, like in India we had this, like British used to send people to this Kala Pani, like, right? So it was a very ghastly place, of course. So something similar to that, okay. So the thing is, when you are here, then you get a time when you are uh, when you get an opportunity to practice spiritual knowledge by having a balance of happiness and suffering, okay. So the happiness of this world should motivate us to continue our spiritual life, because it's easy to practice spirituality when we are healthy, right? Imagine you are suffering, you can't practice, right? But for some people, unfortunately, they have to suffer so bad, so bad, so bad, that only then they become spiritual. That's very unfortunate. But considering normal circumstances, it's easier to be spiritual when you are healthy, right? You can do your spiritual practices very beautifully. You can do your sadhana, you can do so many things when you are healthy. But if you are lying in the hospital, you can't open your eyes, you don't hear, you can't breathe, you can't eat, then you can't do anything essentially, right? So therefore, this time that we are in, this world, this earth, is a very good time for us. Not I'm not talking of 2021 or 2020 or 2022. I'm talking of any life form in this earth in general, especially human life. It is very, 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 very crucial, because this is the place and the time where we get a chance to elevate ourselves spiritually and connect to God at a spiritual level, okay. So therefore, these special days like Dasera, Vijayadashami, then some time back we had Janmashtami, we had Radhashtami, we had Balram Jayanti, and now Damodar month is coming, right? So these months, these days, these special tithis are very, very, very potent, because very important events and incidences have happened in the past. So during these special dates, we always have that. It's like a birthday. Imagine Diwali was a person, imagine Dasera was a person, right? So that person was born the first day when Lord Ram had killed Ravana, right? So now imagine that same person is having birthday. So what do? You go and say happy birthday. So that's like the Tithi Pravesh. Okay. So the new birthdays, it's like a new birthday. So the same energy is present today, that which was present on the day when Lord Ram had killed Ravana. All right. So therefore, it's very important that we harness these days, the power of these days, exceptional days like the Shera, to read more about the Ramayana. And what's Ramayana basically? It's nothing but the journey of Lord Ram. But along with Lord Ram's journey, you can read about Lakshman, you can read about Sita Devi, you can read about his great devotees like Hanuman, Sugriv, Nal, Neel, Angad, Jambavan, right? You can read about Kevat. You can read about Maharaj Guha. There's so many great personalities in the Ramayana. You can read about Dashrath Maharaj. You can read about Lord Ram's mother, Kaushalya Devi, right? You can read about Sumitra Devi, the mother of Lakshman, right? All these great personalities. When you read about them, then you will get the inspiration from within, because these personalities, they're always ready to bless us in any form or in any way, right? So therefore, when we read about these personalities, ideally we should read every day. Why only on the Sera? So as the Srimad Bhagavatam says, it has a very famous shloka which says, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Okay, which means every day you should read and you should hear and read the Srimad Bhagavatam and discuss it with others also. So the thing is, if you don't do it every day, ideally you should. But even if you don't do it every day, then at least on these special days we must be doing, right? So on these special days, it is important that we try to remember these great personalities who were there once upon a time, and not just remember them by some fancy prayers. Oh God, please empower me. No, no, not like that. We should actually read about them, right? We should read about their life story. Ramayana is what, basically it's the journey of Lord Ram. It's like the story of Lord Ram. Okay, so therefore it's important that on the Sera, we, because see, the Sera is many people think, oh, it's just an event, victory of what they say, goodness over evil, right? They say asat, the victory of satya over asatya, they say like this. But it's not so simple, like, oh, a victory of, good over evil. I mean, sounds very fancy, right? But the question is, are we able to implement that same thing within our life? The question is not what is the Sera, or the Sera is about who killed whom, right? That's important, of course. But the bigger important question is, more important is to ask ourselves that, imagine what is our age. Maybe some of us are in 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. How many Daseras have we passed, right? 10 Daseras, 20 Daseras, 50, 30 Daseras, 40, 50, 60. Some of you might be in 70s. You might have passed 70, or maybe somebody is in 80s also, right? You have passed 80 Daseras, or at least 50, 60 maybe. But are you sure that you can claim that, yes, now inside me the righteousness is always victorious over the evil, right? Light is more powerful than darkness. Can we claim that? Forget 80, 90 dasaras. Even if you have passed 10 dasaras, right? From last 10 years, every year you are celebrating dasara. But can you claim that that which actually happened on dasara, Lord Ram had killed Ravana, the same the same trait, is it repeating within your life? How do you behave when there are problems? Do you behave like Lord Ram, like Hanuman, like Lakshman, like Sita Devi, like Sugriv, like Angad? Or do you behave like Ravana, like Kumbhakarna, like Indrajit? How do you behave, right? So that is what we should be asking to ourselves. And if you feel, I don't know about you, but I definitely feel that although I have had so many celebrations of the Sera, but still within me, it's not that always light is more powerful, right? So we have to ask ourselves, what is our situation? How do we behave? Imagine there was a similar scenario like that which Lord Ram faced, or that which Lakshman faced, right? What would we do? How would we behave? Would we behave the way they behaved, or will we behave like the way Ravana behaved? Like, let's take the example of Surpanakha. Surpanakha is the sister of Ravan, Kumbhakarna, and of course Vibhishan. He's an exception though. Now, the Surpanakha, this lady, she saw Lord Ram from the top, okay, when she was flying and hovering around. And then she got very deeply attracted to Lord Ram, right? Which is pretty obvious because he is, and he will be the most handsome personality to have ever lived in this world. Because he's Vishnu himself, and he was his color was green, and he looked extremely beautiful. As Parashar Muni says, one of the traits of God is he's most beautiful, right? So there was nobody in comparison to Lord Ram. In fact, the scriptures say that Lord Ram's face is so beautiful that the only thing that you can compare it with is his own face. His beauty is unparalleled. It's like unbelievable, unimaginable. You can't imagine or believe how beautiful he was. And then this lady, she lost her mind when she had seen Lord Ram. But the problem was, everybody was attracted to Ram, but she was attracted in a sexual way, right? Because she had that lust within herself, that burning desire that everything is made for my enjoyment. So it is said, in fact, once I was listening to one of my Shiksha gurus, he was telling, he said that Ravana and his family, they would think that this entire world is like a supermarket. You know, what happens when you go to a supermarket, right? Ravana and company, RNC. In Mahabharata, we have another company, right? It's DNC, Duryodhana and company. But in Ramayana, we have Ravana and company. So what Ravana and Shurpanakha, Kumkarna, except Vibhishan, of course, Vibhishan was an exception. He was a Paramhamsa. He was a great devotee of Lord Ram. So what would this family do? Indrajit and all this, Prahast, Atikai, and there was this Akampan, then there was Durmukh, there was so many. It's like, Devantak, Narantak, these are his sons, Ravana's sons. So what they would do is, anytime they would see something, they would just pick it up. Anything they would like, right? It's like supermarket. You go, oh, these are groceries. Let me take it. This is like something like food items. Just take it. Mobiles, take it. Cleanliness items, take it. Toothpaste, take it. Brush, take it. जो चाहिए ले लो, सब डाल दो एक में. Whatever you like, just take it. It's all yours, right? Now, you could very well do that in a supermarket. There's nothing wrong in doing that within a supermarket, right? But can you do that going around everywhere? Hopefully not. But this company, RNC, they were deliberately doing this all the time. Okay. Always, whenever they would see something that is attractive or that's beautiful, they would think it's like a supermarket, as they say, leave it. In Hindi movies, they say something, but I will not say that doesn't sound very good. Anything which you see, you take it. As if it's like your father's property, right? Now, the thing is, and they would do the same with everybody. So they would use all these strategies, beg, borrow, steal, or sam dam danda bhed, always, right? Sam means like trying to persuade somebody by speech, or like trying to have a discussion, right? Trying to convince somebody, the first stage. Then dam, sam dam is like dam is like you say, okay, you don't agree, then I'm ready to gift this to you. It's like business deal. Okay, if you don't agree, then okay, take this and then give me that. Okay, it's like something goes in, something goes out, right? Ek hath de, ek hath le, as they say. So that's sam dam. Then there is danda. Danda means punishment, right? Beat the person, humiliate him, punish him, torture him, torment him, insult him, and then take it, right? So then there is bhed, right? Sam dam dand bhed. Bhed is like you cheat the person, right? So you try to convince him. If you can't convince, then try to bargain with him. If you can't bargain, then try to beat him, punish him. If you still can't, then try to cheat him, right? So these are four ways by which this RNC would function all the time. Okay. So this Supnakha, this lady, she went over the top, and then she saw Lord Ram and she lost her mind completely. She was like, "This man must be mine," right? That is what lust within you tells you. Lust inside always tells you. Anytime you find any good looking member of the opposite sex, lust always tells you, the, for a man, it tells, "This lady is meant for me. God has made her for my enjoyment." And it's the same for a lady. It says, "Yes, this man is mine. He should be mine. He must be mine." Right? That's what lust does to us. So she saw Lord Ram and she completely lost herself. And then she believed in this conception of the supermarket, as you know. She believed that every man, or any good looking or any handsome or any powerful man, is meant for her enjoyment, right? She is the rightful owner to every man that exists. So she believed it. And then she dresses herself in a very, she changes her form into something very elegant. It's like a very beautiful apsara. It's like so beautiful you can't even imagine, right? She disguised herself. She was a very ugly, ghastly, gross looking rakshasi, but she disguised herself in a very big, heavenly, beautiful damsel. It's like you will lose your mind if you see her. It's like so beautiful, right? The illusion. So then when she disguised her, then she came to Lord Ram and she, she pretended to be very nice actually. Okay. And he then said, "Oh yeah, you are so beautiful and you are so handsome. No, I'm not too bad either. Why not we, get married, and maybe we enjoy, or we stay together, whatever." And then Lord Ram said, "I would have accepted you. There's no problem. But the only problem is I'm married, and I had taken Ekapatni Vrat, which means only one wife. Okay, no, not more than one." So this is an example. Okay, so imagine something similar happens in your life. One day, imagine you are a man, or you are a woman. Either ways, imagine you know that there are certain boundaries within your ashram. Like if you are a brahmachari, you are a monk, you are staying in a temple, or you are a grihastha, you are married, you already have a husband or a wife. Then imagine you also get a proposal which is similar to that which Lord Ram got from Supnaka. And imagine this person who is giving you this proposal is as beautiful, as elegant, as charming as the illusory Supnaka was, right? So what would you do? Are you sure you would say no? Or maybe you would say yes, or maybe you are doubtful. What would you do, right? So this is a very good opportunity for us to think, um, what would I do if I was in the place of Lord Ram? Okay, so then of course, what did Lord Ram say? He said, "Oh, sorry, actually, um, I'm married, so I can't. But of course, you can always approach my brother." And who is my brother? He's none other than Lakshman himself. He's sitting there. You could always go and approach him, right? And Lakshmanji, he is also non-different from Vishnu himself. He is one of the expansions. He's Anant Shesh, he's Balram. So he's as good as Vishnu. He's Vishnu himself, actually. um, he's one of the expansions, as I said, but he has almost all the qualities like Lord Ram. Okay, and that means he also appeared extremely charming, very beautiful, very well built, very handsome, very intelligent, very manly, very masculine as Lord Ram. So when she saw him, she lost her mind again. Again, she lost her mind. She was like, "Oh my God, he's no less than the other," right? And that's pretty obvious. I mean, they are exceptional. So she went and gave the same proposal to Lakshman, right? The same proposal. And yes, can we? And then Lakshman says, "Actually, my dear lady, the problem is You can marry me. I have no problem. I have absolutely no problem in marrying you, right? But of course, he was sarcastic when he said that. He anyways would never marry her. But then he said, actually, the only reason I can't marry you is that, or he didn't say I will not marry you. He said I can marry you, but because I am a servant of Sita and Ram, so you will also become a servant of Sita Ram. So our only duty will be to serve Sita Devi and Ram. So you won't be getting those honeymoon resorts, that you expect with me. So it's going to be a tough time, my dear lady. So think about it. So then Lakshman, he told, but better than you marrying me, why not you go and marry Ram? Because if you go and marry Ram, then I will become your servant. Then I will serve you also, right? Because wife of Lord Ram is like my worshipable senior, and my it's like my deity, right? So why not? If you go and marry Lord Ram, then I will be your servant and I will serve you. So it's like double bonanza for you. And then this lady, she got frustrated. She was like, these two brothers, they're making a fool out of me. How dare they deny me? How dare do they say no to me? समझते क्या है अपने आप को? So this lady lost it once again. She lost it for the third time. When she saw Lord Ram, she lost it. When she had seen Lakshman, she lost it. And now, out of anger, she lost it again, right? As Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Dhyayato Vishayang Pungsang Sangasteshu Bhajayate Sanjat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammodhat Sammodhat Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Bhamshat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. Lord Krishna says that unfulfilled lust gives rise to anger. When lust is not fulfilled, it turns into anger, right? So first she was lusty by looking at Lord Ram. Then she got lusty by looking at Lakshman. Now, when her lust was unfulfilled, she lost her mind because of anger. Yes, and her mind was blazing with anger. And then she realized, why doesn't Ram marry me? Who is the trouble? This goddamn damn lady Sita. She's the problem. If only this damn lady is not there, this Ram will be mine. Yes, and then when this Ram is mine, this Lakshman will also be mine, right? Or at least Ram will be mine. So what happened was she thought Sita Devi is the cause of my distress. She's the cause of trouble to me, right? If only I can throw her out, I can end her life. If only I can send her out in between of me and Ram, then Ram will be mine. He will be mine for all time to come, right? And what did she decide? Her demoniac mind, which is filled with all nonsense, all lusty desires, unfulfilled lust, all hatred, ego, envy, arrogance. She started becoming envious of this divine lady, Sita Devi. And she thought that the only solution to my problem is not Ram, is not Lakshman, it is this lady Sita. So now I will go and kill her, right? So that's the solution. It's like supermarket. You want something, you don't get it, chop off that person's hand. That's the solution, right? Which they thought always. And then she goes and she's about to kill Sita Devi, right? And then Lord Ram, he's a Kshatriya, of course, and Kshatriyas generally have a policy. They do not pick weapons they do not attack ladies, right? That's against the Kshatriya codes. But now you also have a duty, right? Somebody is attacking Sita Devi, your wife, and you have to protect. So Lord Ram hinted to Lakshman, and then Lakshman, he took his sword and he cut off the nose of this wicked Shurpanakha, right? And the nose fell off. And of course, that place is known as Nasik. Many of you would be aware of this, in Maharashtra in India. But the thing is, why this happened, right? Because she had this fundamental conception within herself that everything in this world is only meant for my enjoyment. Maza karo bas khali, right? Now, of course, there's nothing wrong in wanting to enjoy with the opposite sex, but the scriptures advise that that should only be done with your spouse, right? And that too with one person in Kali Yuga, especially. So, if you really want, then you are allowed to indulge with the opposite sex, but that should only be after marriage. Okay, so premarital union or enjoyment is not very much recommended. Not that it's prohibited, but it's not recommended, because that can degrade us to the level of animals. Okay, then that's the situation of Kali Yuga today, right? You see, premarital affairs, extramarital affairs, multiple parallel affairs, like so many things are rampant in Kali Yuga. Why? Because the institution of marriage is not given due sufficient importance. But anyways, she did not go through that. She knew that Lord Ram is already married, and she should not encroach. So Lord Ram is like Sita Devi's, it's like Sita Devi's husband. So I should not encroach upon another woman's husband. She did not have that much subuddhi, sense of good intelligence, to think over it, right? But again, the question is not what she did. The question is, if you were in the place of Ram or Lakshman, what would you do, right? Would you behave the same way, in a way similar, right? Or you would behave like somebody else, right? So that's the important question that we should end up asking ourselves today. Okay, and then we know what happens. This lady is infuriated, and she goes and decides to take revenge. Okay, and then she goes to Ravana, and she says that, oh, this lady Sita is so beautiful. Only you should only she should only stay with you. Why is she staying with this forest dweller Ram? Okay, Ram does not deserve her. Actually, you deserve her. Okay, and then she started describing Sita Devi's body parts, right? Her feminine features, and then that got Ravana hooked mentally towards Sita Devi, and then that's how he came and kidnapped her. Okay, so it's the same thing, you see. So many times people say that, why did this war, either the Kurukshetra war or the war of Lanka happened? Because if Lord Ram wanted, he could have anyways killed them by any means, right? Because he's God ultimately, so he can do. He doesn't have to wage a war with the Vanar Sena, with Hanuman, Sugriv. He doesn't need Lakshman. He doesn't need even an excuse for Ravana to come and kidnap his wife and then go and kill him, right? He could have done it always, anyways, without any reason, right? But then the thing is, whenever Krishna or Ram, whenever they do something, they do it in a way that is very appealing to the general mass, so that they get attracted to them, right? So imagine one day Lord Ram goes and kills Ravan, and that's like not a big story. But imagine, now the Ramayana, okay, Sita Devi is kidnapped, and then for long time she stays in Lanka, and then Lord Ram takes this army, goes through the ocean, and then goes and he's victorious at the end, right? So this actually charms everybody's mind. Wow, it's so amazing, it's so interesting that one man, he went so far just to get his wife back. He must be such an amazing person. Who is this person? Let me read about him, let me study about him. Who is this person who, just because his father said, or even his father didn't say, his stepfather said that you should go to the forest for 14 years. So he went, right, without even saying a word. And who is this divine lady, Sita Devi, who accompanied her husband, Lord Ram? Okay. So when the general public hears, oh, because they can relate it with their own life. right? There's many times, even in Kali Yuga, it happens many times. There's a father or a stepmother comes, and the stepmother gives preferential treatment to her son or her daughter, and then the other get feels neglected, right? The stepchild, and then the stepchild revolts. Yes, we won't let this happen. This is injustice to us, right? So many times people can relate this is inheritance, like your stepmother ensures everything goes to your stepbrother or stepsister, and nothing comes to you, so you get infuriated, right? The same happened with Lord Ram. He was stripped of everything, right? Imagine tomorrow you are going to become the king of the entire world, right? But then suddenly, over the night, you become a pauper. You are like you don't have any existence. It's like you are finished totally, right? Many of us may not understand. We may not be able to fathom what does this mean, but there are so many people in this world who can get a glimpse of this. When I say, imagine the day your manager told you that, my dear sir, my dear madam, you're fired. You don't have this job anymore from tomorrow. Don't come to the office and you won't get any salary, right? But at least you had a home. At least you had your parents or maybe somebody, right, beside you. But then Lord Ram had nobody. Yes, he was supposed to go alone. But of course, out of sense of love and duty and respect and admiration and devotion, Lakshman and Sita Devi agreed, uh, on contrary to Lord Ram's desire. And Lord Ram never wanted that they accompany him, but they ended up accompanying him in spite of his reluctance, of course. But the thing is, when such shocking incidences happen in our life, of course, we may not be so well groomed or so well matured or so emotionally stable like Lord Ram, but at least we can take inspiration from his life journey, and we can try to walk in his footsteps. Okay, and within your city, within your town, within your circle of influence, if you have a spiritual community where they are studying Ramayana or Ram Katha is going on, then it is in our best interest to go and attend those satsang programs, right? So one is satsang, of course. The other one is sadhana. Sadhana means we do our own spiritual practices, like chanting mantras, getting up early in the morning, taking bath early in the morning, then doing arti, reading the Ramayana, reading the Mahabharata, reading the Srimad Bhagavatam. These are like our own sadhana. Okay, so we have satsang, as I said, then we have sadhana, and then we have sadachar. Sadachar is like the good example that we set for other people, right? By our own exemplary behavior, which is like a reflection of the sadhana that we do. So the better our sadhana is, the better will be our sadhachar, and the better our satsang is, the better will be our sadhana. And as I said, better the sadhana, better the sadachar. And sadachar is something which inspires which inspires other people to become like you. Okay, and then we have seva also. So the four S, satsang, sadhana, sadachar, and seva. Seva means we render some service to our guru or to the spiritual community. We give back from them from whom we got, right? So this connection with the spiritual community is very, 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 very essential. Okay, so therefore we need to understand that in Kali Yuga it's very difficult to practice individualized self-centric spirituality, right? It's very difficult. So imagine tomorrow, some guru comes, or imagine if God comes in front of you and tells you that, yes, from tomorrow you should do this, you should read the Ramayana in 30 minutes, you should read the Bhagavad Gita, or you should chant these many number of mantras, or you should do this, do that, whatever he says. How many of us can write it and sign it and give a guarantee to everybody that till the end of our life we will be doing that, right? How many of us can do that? Not many, maybe nobody, right? But that is possible when we have the support and the help of a spiritual community, because the spiritual community is a place where we have, like-minded individuals. So when we have like-minded individuals, the atmosphere becomes very supportive, and it also inspires us. It gives us an indication that if that person can do, why can't I do? If he can do, I can do. If she can do, I can also do it, right? And therefore it's very important that you take inspiration from a spiritual community and not just visit it like superficially randomly, because in India there are so many spiritual communities, and there are so many people who claim to be spiritual or who claim to visit some spiritual communities, right? You would also have so many people who claim, oh, I go to this center, I go to that place, मैं यहाँ जाती हूँ, मैं वहाँ जाता हूँ, मैं ये करता हूँ, मैं वो करती हूँ, right? But the thing is, um, how many of them are actually getting benefited, right? Now, why are they not getting benefited even after going to a spiritual community from so long, from so many years? Why are they not getting benefited, right? Because they are so see, it's like, as the example is given, licking the bottle of honey from outside, right? So they have the honey, which is like the spiritual energy, the potency, the power. But even after going there, they are having this material vision, the material outlook. Okay, which means suppose you go to a spiritual community, and let's assume you are from India and you have studied, in some fancy college like the IIT or NIT, for example. And if you go and see somebody who is from a normal, private college, and if you start thinking, oh, after all, I am an IIT, and it's me after all. Who is this person? He has studied in a private college, he can't speak on the Ramayana, अरे बेटा ये क्या बताएगा हम. So it's like that sense of material identity which you carry on in these spiritual communities, which stops you from making spiritual progress. Because maybe you are from an IIT, maybe you are from an NIT, but and maybe that person is from a private, downtrodden, not so famous college. But maybe in your spiritual life, that in case of spirituality, that person is way, 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 way ahead of you, right? You may be just a beginner. It's like a nursery baby boy, right? And this person may be a PhD, like studying for 30 years, right? So where is the comparison? What is the use of your degree from IIT or IIM or NIT, or any fancy college, or even a degree from abroad, or even from Harvard, Stanford, or any college, right? Oxford, Cambridge, if you cannot elevate yourself spiritually, right? So then you feel that, oh, this person is not from NIT, so I will not listen to this person. Or you may listen superficially, but you will not pay attention, because you will be like, अरे ये तो नहीं है, ये तो IIT वाला नहीं है, he's not of my level. I will only listen to somebody of my level or superior to me, right? So materially you may be superior, right, at this moment of time. Who knows, later on that person may do better than you in his life compared to you, right? But considering current situation, it might be that you are doing better, so you have that outlook, right? Or maybe you are very good looking. So if somebody is not very good looking, and when they are speaking something, you have this feeling, oh, this person, after all, he doesn't look that great, he doesn't seem to be that smart, so maybe he's not a very good person to enlighten us on spirituality, right? So therefore, or it could be anything, right? You have a fancy mobile, you have your fancy car, you have your fancy gadgets, you have these fancy connections of this world, right? You are sitting eating with millionaires, crorpatis, lakpatis, right? And then this person, maybe he comes in a in some dhoti kurta, and he comes and gives some lecture on the Ramayana, right? So then you'll be like, oh, I have this, a brand new t-shirt from this particular brand, and I'm standing out from everybody here. How does this person deserve to speak something, right? So, or you may not like somebody for no reason, right? That person may be your equal financially, career wise, looks wise, personality wise, but you may still not like somebody for reasons which nobody understands. So therefore, it's very important that whenever we are going to a spiritual community, we put aside our prejudices, our social outlooks, and we try to see everybody from a spiritual perspective. Okay, because if we do not do that, then we will be visiting spiritual communities, but we will not be able to benefit from them, right? It's like drinking the bottle of honey from outside, right? So we go to a spiritual community to get free from the conception of material, which doesn't mean that we become irresponsible, but we understand that there's much more to life beyond the material coverings, right? So once we understand that, then we go to a spiritual community, we looking for wisdom, looking for enlightenment, looking for progress, looking for determination, looking for awareness, um, looking for everything basically, right? And when you do that, then please understand that even though somebody is sitting next to you, but you don't know from where that person has come. He might come from anywhere, right? He may be your neighbor. He may be, suppose you are from Maharashtra and this person may be from West Bengal, right? But then you guys may be very far, but yet maybe you were, best friends in your past life. You were in a gurukul together. Maybe you become best friends, right? Or maybe you are sitting with your neighbor who's of a similar financial background or similar, educational background. Then also it could happen that maybe that person is way way ahead in terms of spiritual awareness and elevation. So it's very important that you understand that everybody in the best attitude to make progress in a spiritual community is to think that everybody is better than you, right? In the material world we have, if you say this in a corporate setting that yes, everybody is better than me, and they will say, oh, you are having inferiority complex, no, no, you are the best, I am the smartest person in the room, right? uh, but in context of spirituality, it is actually the opposite. Because if you think you are the best person in the room, then you will not make any progress, right? Because then you cannot take enlightenment from anybody, and enlightenment can come through any means, right? It can come through speech, somebody is speaking something enlightening, or somebody is giving you something enlightening, right? Somebody is giving you some prasad, right? So, or somebody is giving you a Bhagavad Gita or anything it can be, or somebody is chanting some names of God, but you have this material vision because of which you cannot take enlightenment from anybody, right? And because of that, you still stay at the same place. Okay, so one of the reasons why people don't make progress even after joining a spiritual community for years and years and years is that they have a material outlook towards the members of that spiritual community, and they think they are superior to everybody else, right? And the second reason is, of course, the obvious reason that even though you are associated with a particular spiritual community for a long time, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, maybe 50 years also, and you are doing the practices which that particular tradition exemplifies or that particular guru encourages you, but you have not made a deliberate effort to cleanse your anarthas and your shortcomings within, right? So spiritual progress happens when we do two things. We we come in contact with divinity more and more, which means we read the scriptures more, we associate with sadhus, and we contribute back to the society. We stay in satsang, we chant the names of God, we relish spiritual life. And the second is when we try to stay away from the things which are not recommended in the scriptures, right? Like for example, so one is the do's and the other is the don'ts, right? So um, if you go to any spiritual community, you will find, there are four categories of people. Like one category is who doesn't take the do's very seriously, neither does he take the don'ts very seriously. If the guru says do this, he's like, some other time, not today. And the guru says don't do this, then he's like, Guru Maharaj, only today, from tomorrow I will not do this, but today's Aj last. From tomorrow I will never do this, but today is the last time I'll do it, right? So one who does not take the do's seriously, neither does one who takes the don'ts seriously, right? And then you have the second category, which takes the do's very seriously, but doesn't take the don'ts very seriously, which means he's very pakka. He or she gets up early in the morning, does full sadhana, does full seva, has incredible spiritual experiences. But when it comes to the don'ts, right, the person is very loose, right? So maybe the person is chanting the names of God in the day and reading Bhagavad Gita 1 hour every day, for example. And then when he or she is in the office, they are gossiping, they are trying to pull down somebody, they're discussing about movies, or they are flirting with the opposite sex, or they are making some plans to go out in the night, right? Or having alcohol, doing gambling, doing all sorts of nonsense, right? So it's like you are adding fire in the morning, and in the day you are putting water over it, so everything is finished, right? Then we have the third category, one who takes the don'ts very seriously but doesn't take the do's very seriously. So the third category is always like, oh, don't tell me bad things, don't, I will not see bad things, I won't listen to bad things, I will not do bad, stay away from bad, bad is bad, it's all bad, bad, bad everywhere. It's all no, 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 not this, not that, ye nahi, wo nahi, I won't do this, I won't do that. They negate everything, they say no to all the bad things which they should ideally say no. But when it comes to saying yes to the things which they should actually say, they don't say yes. So suppose there's one person who says, oh, I my guru told me not to have meat, stay away from killing animals, and stay away from wine, alcohol, or any sorts of illicit sex, like visiting prostitutes, or like having premarital connections. I will not do that. But then the next day morning you are supposed to do some sadhana also, right? Which will re-establish your connection to the divine. So just not doing the bad things and being very irresponsible on the things which you should do is not going to necessarily make you also very spiritual, right? So these are three categories, and the last category is the best, which is, of course, they take the do's very seriously, which means they do their sadhana, they have a very good lifestyle, they maintain very good discipline, and they are also very serious with the don'ts. They also take the don'ts very seriously, okay? Which means they stay away from things which are not recommended to be done in the scriptures, right, for human beings, okay? So this is the category. The fourth category is one who makes rapid fast spiritual progress. The other three categories will make stunted progress, right? The first category will not make any progress, which means they don't take the do seriously, no, neither do they take the don'ts very seriously. So they are not doing any sadhana, instead they are doing all nonsense. And second category does good sadhana, but is also doing nonsense along with it. The third category doesn't do any nonsense but is not doing any sadhana, right? So the first category will never make spiritual progress. In 1,000 billion lifetimes years, they will remain where they are, okay? The second and the third category will make spiritual progress depending on how much good they are doing and how much bad they are evading, right? Depending on that, they will make some amount of spiritual progress. May not be that great, but some at least. But even though they make, that will be very stunted. Okay, which means it's like they elevate, they fall down, elevate, fall down, elevate, fall down, elevate, fall down. So it's again with breaks, right? But the fourth category will make rapid spiritual progress. It's like bullet train. The maglev trains, it's like you go very fast, or it's like an aeroplane, right? Because they are doing all things which they should, and they are evading everything which they should. Okay. I mean, they are evading everything which they should actually evade, right? So so when you come in this mood, that I will do the things which are recommended and I will stay away from the nonsense, then is the time. And you have this mood of a child, a student, right? Because Lord Krishna says in the Gita, तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानम ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः. So he says that if you want to understand, so basically Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna that if you want spiritual knowledge, go and seek it from a guru, right? He says that tad vidhi pranipatena, first you do pranipat, humbly go and pay obeisances and accept that your guru is the only one who can deliver you, right? Nobody else. And tadvidhi pranipatena, vidhi pranipat means with the rightful attitude and good behavior, go and pay obeisances and become humble, right? Tadvidhi pranipat, pranipat is, paying obeisances. Pranipatena, then pariprashne, pariprashna means inquire from him, that Guru Maharaj, why am I suffering? What is going on in this world? Can you tell me what will happen? Who created this world? Who is God? How do I go to him? When will I elevate? So many questions, right? So first be humble, come in that mood of a student, right? Only then you can go and approach your guru, right? Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashne, you inquire, pariprashnena sevaya, sevaya means render some service to your guru. Okay, because when you render some service, you do some seva. It could be personal seva, directly or indirectly. Okay, then seva is like trying to shoulder the burden of your guru in any means, right? So when you do that, then upadekchanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina, which means tattvadarshis. Tattvadarshis are the gurus, because Krishna says they have seen the truth. So whenever you go to a spiritual community, you will find so many gurus. Okay, there will be one diksha guru, then there will be shiksha gurus, then there will be pat pradashita gurus, right? So it is important for you to understand that without the shelter of your gurus and the blessings of the god brothers and god sisters of your spiritual community, it is not possible for us to make any spiritual progress. Okay, because we at our level, we are very faulty. But then when we come to a spiritual community, it is their force that pulls us along. Okay, and only then we can actually elevate ourselves spiritually, and then we can, as Lord Krishna says, antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. This is a antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram, right? So basically there are many references to the similar concept of that, wherever, whatever you think at the end of your life, that destination you attain, right? And Krishna says, if you think of me, then you'll come back to me, right? You will be liberated from this miserable material existence. And essentially that is what this Vijayadashami means, right? To free yourself from all the material bondage. So practice spirituality and elevate your consciousness and go higher, right? And same is Dasera. Dasera is what? Lord Ram kills Ravan, but Ravan is eternally living within our hearts, right? In the form of lust, right? Lust not only for the opposite sex, but lust for anything and everything of this world, right? The supermarket mentality. Whenever you think of Ravana and company, think of a supermarket. Do you also behave the same way? If you do, then you will also have the same fate like Ravana and his entire his entire company, right? Kumkaran, then Indrajit, Atikai, Prahast, Narantak, Devantak, Akshay. No, so many of these demons, they had met very bad ends. Okay, so the end was not not that you would want, right? And therefore, it is important that we just don't superficially let these special days just pass on. Yeah, everywhere the Shira is coming, just passing, nothing is happening. So, whoever is watching this video today, I see 35 people are watching me now. I don't know after I upload to YouTube how many will watch this, but I see 35, 36 people watching me now. I want all these 35 people to comment on this same video next year. That's sir, this today I have completed 1 year from that Dasera, that YouTube video that you made. And it was not just a Dasera for me. It was a this entire year has been special because I have made very good spiritual progress. So all the 35 people, or I see 39 here joining now, all of you promise to yourself that today is like a new year for you. Today is like new birth for you. Okay. Today is like a new day for you. Random day, but a new day. Where you will take some spiritual commitments and do it. And of course, as I said, the fourth category, take the do's seriously and also stay away from the don'ts. All right. So the next year, when I make this same Dasera video, it should not be just another Dasera video. It should be a video where you have experienced transformation. All right. That is my humble request to each and everyone. Or I see 37 now watching, right? So I hope you will make very good spiritual progress. Okay. So I will take another 10 minutes for any questions and queries that you might have. But my kind request, my humble request, please do not post any astrology related queries or your personal horoscope queries. Okay, please do not post that. You could do it some other time with some other astrologer, but please do not do here. Let us use this time to ask any question that you could have for me. Who knows, your question may be there for somebody else also. And my answers, that which I have learned from my gurus, that might benefit you and the rest of the audience also. So any questions that you have regarding whatever I said, or anything to do with spirituality, or anything to do with Ramayana, or anything, you could ask me if you have, or else I can proceed. Priyam Priyam Tiwari saying, I believe one there is a story linked to the past life between Lakshmanji and Shurpanakha. Could be. I am not aware of it. Renee is saying, I am enjoying your very expressive and enthusiastic narration today. Thank you. I am happy that I could give you some enjoyment of any means. Stasha Resurrection is saying, Guruji, is Venus and Sun bad conjunction in the seventh house? Some other time, Stasha. Pramila ji is saying, Sir, you are amazing storyteller. Thank you very much, Pramila ji. Paul Rajkua, he says, Oh, moja lagise de, ekdom boria. He's from Assam. Nice to see you, Paul. Siranjit Das is saying, Moja lagisa. Thank you. Thank you. Shivani Panda is saying, Happy Durga Puja to you, sir. May the Divine Mother bless you abundantly. Thank you, Shivani ji. I wish you the same. Thank you very much for your wishes. And I would go to some questions somebody had posted earlier. Praveen Kharkodia is saying, May God give us strength and right sense to fight our inner demon and thus help us to identify our different heads and work towards self consciousness. Oh, yes, yes. In fact, this is also something which is very interesting, about the Ramayana, that Ravana had 10 heads, so he had the blessing of Lord Brahma that when he had this Amrit in his navel, Nabhi, like, so whenever one head would cut, he had this blessing that another head would pop out immediately, right? So Acharyas explain uh, that all these heads of Ravana, these are like, material desires which keep appearing again and again and again and again and again, right? So Lord Ram uh, chopped off one head, then the other head appeared, right? Then another hundreds and thousands of heads, they keep appearing. So what happens? It's like something very similar which happens to us. You go to a spiritual community, you go to the satsang, you hear these good things, fancy things, and you are like, yes, from tomorrow I am going to implement, then I'm going to transform my life, okay? I'm going to be the best version of myself, right? But what happens immediately as you start to do something good, right? Again, some material, some sinful desire pops up. So it's like that Ravana's head which has popped up again from nowhere, right? And then you say no to it and you continue, and then again another head pops up, right? uh, so it's like a never ending process. But then there was a time when Lord Ram had invoked the mantra, the Aditya Hridaya Stotra, okay, which Agastya Muni had given him. And when he invoked that mantra into his arrow, then that was how Ravana was killed. So the lesson of Ramayana is the lesson of these heads popping up and then uh, reappearing always, right? Even after being cut. The lesson is that no matter what you do, how much ever you do spiritual practices, these heads may keep popping up time to time because these are there for many lifetimes, okay? So therefore it's very essential that we seriously take shelter of Lord Ram, right? Only then we can get rid of these material desires. And when Lord Ram is pleased by our endeavors, the way he did today, he took that bow and arrow and he chopped off uh, he finally extinguished the Amrit which was in the belly of Ravana, and he also finally killed Ravan. Okay, so when he sees that sincerity within you, he will do the same with your heart also, right? But before that, it's essential that you have to earn the trust of Lord Ram, okay, which means you really have to prove it to him that you are really sincere, right? For example, he's Maryada Purushottam, so you have to demonstrate with your practical, with your not just by your thought or by your prayers, but by your living example. You have to demonstrate it to Lord Ram that you are really serious about your spiritual life, and only then he will kill the Ravana which is inside you. Okay, otherwise you will hear so many times, but these heads will always keep popping up, right? One desire goes, then another comes, this goes, then another goes. Okay, all right. प्रेम सिंह इज सेइंग लाइव हो कि हाँ सर लाइव है Laggard in love is saying Keval ji, you can chant Hanuman Chalisa daily. It has helped me. Keval ji. Ah, okay. Keval Kuthari saying how to get job immediately. Jobless since 9 months. Well, Keval ji, I have a video on the money remedy, 6 weeks money remedy. You can please do that as soon as possible. And I hope that really changes your situation. And many people have also got jobs, or at least one job after watching that. Whoever was jobless, so if you want, you could do it. In fact, tomorrow is Saturday, you can start it from Saturday itself. So go to my you can go to YouTube and type exotic astrology money remedy. Okay, Aditya Aditya is saying, Namaste Guji visited Dwarika in August, now going for Narmada Parikrama. Excellent. Very good. Keep it up. Keep us updated through the comments. How was your Narmada Parikrama? Manjari Joshi is saying, I in a consultation some other time. Manjari ji, today is Vijayadashami, so let's discuss on Lord Ram. Prem Singh is saying, sir, I want ask a question. If after death our relative take new birth, then how we use Shraddh Paksh? See, Shraddh Paksh is going on now, as you know. The thing is, in Shraddh Paksh, we offer oblations to our ancestors. So, wherever they are, in whichever form, they are in form of a human in this world, or they are in the form of an animal, or they are in some, some other planetary system, or wherever they are, or in some other universe, wherever, right? They are actually getting a means for their sustenance. Okay, so it is very essential to do pitru tarpan every once in a while, not only during pitru paksha. Okay, especially on amavasyas you can do pitru tarpan is very important, but at least always it should be done during pitru paksha. Okay, that actually helps us. So if we do that for our ancestors, then some of our descendants will also do it for us. Okay, if we don't do, then karma will backfire. So then we will be in some place, in some world, or some universe, in some planetary system, we will be starving, we will not have anything to eat sometimes. Okay, so of course it's not so simple as I just explained, but this is how you should understand it, right? So irrespective of who they are, where they are now, or maybe they have perfected their lives and gone back to the spiritual world, irrespective of that, you should do. That's your duty to do. Okay. Mohini Duche is saying, I wanted to ask you one thing. Whenever I help someone, I feel happy, but at the same time, I observe some kind of aham come. Okay, some ahankar. I'm aware of about that and wanted to stop. What would you suggest? Well, Lord Krishna says in the Gita, ahankara vimurhatma kartaham iti bandite. So Lord Krishna says that the living entity is so foolish that ahankara vimudhatma, that because of the ahamkar, he thinks karta aham iti manyate. He thinks I am the doer, I am the controller, right? So the only solution, Mohini ji, to this is you have to understand that Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva lokamaheshwaram suridam sarva bhutanam gyatva mam shantim rochati. He says, Bhoktaram yagya tapasyam sarva lokamaheshwaram. I am the ultimate enjoyer, controller, and proprietor of everything that exists. Sarva lokamaheshwaram. I am the Lord of all the lokas, right? Maheshwaram. Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. I am also the most well wishing friend of everybody, right? Much more than a friend, it's like a soulmate. Suhrid is like a soulmate for you. Your most well wisher. Suhrid Sarvabhutanam. For all living entities, for all the dogs, cats, humans, men, women, children, old, everybody. Okay. Gyatva mam shantim ruchati. One who understands this actually attains peace, right? So the concept, your ahankar is because you think you are very powerful, or you are very affluent, or whatever it is. You think that you are very capable of doing something, right? But the thing is, that thing which you have done to others, because of which you apparently become proud of yourself, is also because God is blessing you with that strength, right? So you are actually not doing that. You are becoming an instrument of God's compassion. So the more you see that way, the more you will understand that, oh, actually it's God's love which is flowing through me. So who am I to become proud or arrogant or egoistic regarding that? Okay. And of course, at a deeper level, you have to read more about God, about Lord Ram and Krishna. Then you will realize more about their power. So when you see their strength, their power, their wisdom, then you will realize how insignificant we are, right? At our level. It doesn't mean we are useless or we are insignificant, but it definitely means we are not as powerful as we think we are, right? So so therefore the only way you could stop this is by enlightening yourself about the power of God, because we are like this jugnu, as they say, na, and Krishna is like the Surya, right? So when the jugnu, in the night the jugnus are shining, have you seen? But when the sun shines they all disappear, right? So when there's nobody, there's nothing, we can we can always pretend to be very great, right? But when God comes, then it's like you're nobody in front of him. So the more you realize about God, the more you will realize about our insignificance, okay? And that will make us humble, and by that we can give up our ahankar. राहुल खुलर जी is asking, sir, please sadhana के बारे में perspective दीजिए. In addition to chanting or reading scriptures, religious texts or similar practice, what might be counted as sadhana? So uh, the thing is, Rahul ji, these are will and always be an integral part of your sadhana. Okay, so sadhana has so many aspects. So one of them could be chanting the names of God, mantra meditation, and the other is reading of the scriptural texts. It could be from any religion, not only it's necessary that it has to be from your religion, your tradition. You could pick up some other religious tradition also, that could also work, whichever inspires you the best. uh, then of course it could be, worshipping the form of God, doing arti, doing puja. That is one way by which you can directly connect with God, right? And then also a part of sadhana could be, doing cooking for God. That's also like part of sadhana. Cooking in the sense you cook something and you offer it to God, and then you accept that in return. It's like prasad. That is like seva. But I think what you actually mean is, in addition to all this, what are other things you can do? So when you talk of sadhana in general, the reading and hearing, these are most important. So hearing from your guru. So sadhana means anything that you take, right? You take from your guru. You take, when you chant, you take power from the holy name of God. When you read, you are taking empowerment from the Gita or the Bhagavatam. And then you should also do seva. Seva means, suppose today you have read about Bhagavad Gita, you should speak it to somebody else, right? Or yeah, it can be, you can also distribute a Bhagavad Gita, right? You can cook something and offer to somebody else, right? You cook something and you offer to God, then that prasad you can offer to somebody else, right? That is also seva. So you can do more seva. So you can spread spiritual knowledge, and there are so many other things you can do. There are people, if you can have deities in your home, like you can do murti puja. So in that you can, make dresses for God, you can make paintings of God. So there are so many things you can do. You can sing bhajans, right? So these are sadhana and seva combined, okay? So all these things will actually help you. I hope that answers your question. Astro Nikhil is saying, please give marriage remedy also today on Vijayadashami, whose marriages are getting delayed. I have not found one till now. When I find, maybe I can give. Prem Singh is saying, oh sir, मर मरगा आज तो आपने मेरा नाम लिया है, क्या लिखूं? लिमिटलेस फैन, थैंक यू. Mohini Paul is saying, good evening, sir. I have Pitr Dosha in my Kundali and my family does not do any remedy. Can you please tell me how can I appease my ancestors and get rid of this dosha? I am the first born in my family. Manjari Joshi is saying, when we suffer in life, how do we know what is our sins, pending karma or not? Okay, so Mohini Paul ji, I have made 2 3 videos on Pitru Paksha, so you could please watch them. Okay, it's already there in my channel. I think that will give you an elaborate perspective. Okay, so please do it. I think I made once every year from last 2 3 years, so, or at least this year in 2018 or 19. But you could type exotic astrology Pitru Paksha, it will be there. Okay, I hope you find it and it helps you. Okay, coming back to Manjari ji's question, when we suffer in life, how to know that it is our sins or pending karma or not? See, any suffering that you get is a reaction to your sins. Okay, So you may, in YouTube there are these fancy useless nonsensical terminologies like, pending karma. All right, every karma is a pending karma. I don't understand why do they use these fancy words, right? Pending means, oh, it will happen someday. Pending apna aega kabhi to, it's like, it's like an endless sense of hopelessness. It's like pending karma, kab aega, kab jayega, kitna hai, kisko nahi pata, right? Nobody knows. So of course we could try to find it from our horoscope using so many astrological parameters, but at a deeper level we have to understand that the very fact that we have taken birth in this world is a proof of our pending karma, even if you want to call it pending karma or sins or whatever, right? So therefore, try to do good in your ability, in best of your ability, and don't do any bad, and elevate your consciousness spiritually. Okay, just being good and not doing bad will also not get you anywhere in the long run. Okay, so do good materially, be responsible, perform your duties, and stay away from things which are prohibited in the scriptures, which are not recommended for your good, and elevate your consciousness spiritually. Okay, only then you will be able to go beyond this material world. Okay. Shibani Panda is Janvi 1 1. How are you? I'm good. How about you? Shivani Panda is saying, can you do Pitu Tarpan if parents are living? Yes, of course you can do it. It has nothing to do with the fact that your parents are living or they are not. In fact, if your parents are living and they are in a condition to do Pitru Tarpan, which means they are not very old, or they can go to a holy place or even to a temple, or so ideally they should be doing, or you could also do on their behalf if they are not able to do it because of their age or finances. But ideally if they are alive, then they should do for your ancestors, which are also their ancestors. But if, yeah, if they are not able to do, then you can also do, and it has nothing to do with the fact that they are alive or they are not. Okay, it doesn't depend on your parents, or even if they are living or they are not. Even if, worst case scenario, even if you are an adopted child, right? You don't know who your real parents are. Even then you can do it, because whoever gave birth to you, your ancestors are always there in some form. Somebody has given birth to you, right? Some lady, and that lady was impregnated by some man, your father. So one man and one woman, they came together, and that's how you are here. So irrespective of you know them or you don't, they are always there, and their ancestors, who are also your ancestors, they are also there, okay, in some form or the other. So that's none of your business to think where they are, what they are doing, where I mean anything about that. But it's your job to do it, so you do it, and then yes, they will also get the benefit. Okay. All right, I will take one or two questions. Keval Kuthar is saying, will you be my Krishna? I am ready to be under your shelter. I hope you find a guru. A guru is required. Okay. Laggard in love is saying, is having material desires wrong? How do we strike a balance between our material and spiritual worlds? Where should we draw the line? Many, many thanks for this inspiring session. So, having material desires is not bad. Uh, so, see, there are like three categories in this. Okay, one is the white zone, another is the black zone, another is the gray zone, right? So your desires will primarily be in these three categories, all of the desires. So one category is like, something good, you want to do some good for society, or you want a good job, you want to get married, or you want to earn a lot of money or something like this. So these are like white desires. Now black desires is like, you are married but you want to go and indulge with somebody else, right? That is like a black desire, that's prohibited, that's not allowed. Then alcohol, meat, these are totally prohibited, you should stay away from them. Okay, if you are wanting to make any spiritual progress, these are the things you should totally stay away from, like gambling, okay, lottery and all this, stay away from all this. Any forms of intoxication or illicit sex or meat eating, stay away. These are four regulative principles mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But within that, there are gray zones, right? Gray means there is something black, something white. Now, depending on your lifestyle, it will indicate, is that gray desire going to be white or is it going to be black. So for example, suppose you have one desire, I want to maintain a family, I want to have a good life, luxurious life. Okay, that could be a white desire. But suppose you have too much desire, you want that, oh yeah, I will strip, I want to be the richest person in the world, like that could be a white desire, or it could be a gray, or it could be a black desire also. So when does it become white or when is it gray? White in the sense when you do it in a legitimate way, by hard work and by balancing other areas of your life, so then it's like white. But gray means you have done certain things which you should have avoided to reach to that stage. And black means you have cheated somebody, you have killed somebody, murdered somebody, or deceived somebody, and then you have done it, then that's black, right? So the only way you can know this is by reading the scriptures under a bona fide guru. Only then you will know. But these are the broad guidelines that I have given. Okay. And many times people ask this: how can we strike a balance between our material and spiritual worlds? Well, see, very clear cut answers here. The morning time exclusively should be given for spiritual practices. No mundane material activity in the morning. Okay. Stop it. Okay. Which means get up early in the morning, take a bath, cold water preferably, and sit down and chant your mantras, read the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, do some aarti, listen to your guru. These are primary activities you should do only in the morning, not in the day, not in the afternoon, not in the noon, pre-noon, afternoon, whatever, right? In the night, forget it, right? It's an illusion. So then in the day you should be properly engaged. If you have employment, then you go to the office and you set a good example, do your best, right? And in the evening you should give time to a family, and in the night before sleeping you can again do some spiritual practices. And in the weekends you should visit a spiritual community and dedicate at least Saturday or Sunday exclusively for your spiritual elevation, right? And even within your office you can have friendships with people who are good, like who motivate you, who are positive. Stay away from who are gossiping or are doing some kind of things which are not recommended, right? So that is how you balance. But to balance you have to first start doing spiritual practice. Okay, so first do, then you think of balancing. So if you are doing and you, because generally I have seen people who do very good spiritual practices, they never come into a they never come into this territory of not able to balance their material lives. It never happens with them. Because when they elevate themselves spiritually, then they get that intelligence by which they naturally understand, okay, अब मुझे ये करना चाहिए, अब ये करना चाहिए, अब ये करूंगा, ऐसे खत्म, finish. But if you are not actually doing your spiritual practices regularly, then you will always be confused, because then you will mismanage your time. Oh, maybe morning I was doing my office work, then when will I chant my mantras? In the night, nahi ho raha hai, bahut mushkil hai, difficult hai, chhod do. No, it's not like that. So in the beginning days, or not only beginning days, always the morning should be given for spiritual practices exclusively, dedicatedly. There is no substitute, no alternative to this. Okay, unless your office is burning, or somebody is about to die, or somebody has got some heart attack or something, you have to go to the hospital emergency. In those circumstances you are allowed to go. But normally 364 days a year, when there is no emergency, one day there could be an emergency, but the normal days, that should be your outlook. Okay, then you will develop intelligence, then you will develop spiritual awareness, by which you will automatically understand when you should do what. And you will be able to because your waste time disappears. You stop wasting time when you are elevated spiritually, because you realize time is very crucial. So you will stop doing things which are wasting your time, like watching TV, movies, and all this nonsense. Okay, news, watching news, right? Who is going to
win the 2024 elections? Is it going to be the BJP, or is it going to be Congress, or the left, or a third, fourth front, right? Who is going to be the next prime minister? Is it going to be Narendra Modi, or is it going to be Rahul Gandhi, or is it going to be some new character, right? Well, even if they become or they don't, how is it going to change your life, right? So these are some examples, right? When is the next season coming out for, like cricket, or this, what they keep watching, in TV, like some fancy things like, Big Boss and all this, just a waste of time. Stay away from all this, and your life will be much better, trust me. And stay away from news also, because the news outlets are primarily one sided, right? So if you talk in context of India, there is no news channel that you can watch, right? It's the same with the West also, but in context of India, there's not one single unbiased news channel that you can watch. If you talk of NDTV, it is fully left oriented, right? It always speaks against the BJP, against Narendra Modi, against the current government, and it never praises anything good that this current government does. Okay, NDTV and CNN, yes, these are totally left wing, and there are many YouTubers also, right, who are in that same category. Then the other side, you have Republic TV, you have Aaj Tak, you have, I don't know, I mean, so many Z News or whatever. They are all the right wing channels. Okay, so they never they always speak badly against the Congress or the left, or they always praise the current Modi BJP government, and anything what they are doing, it's like god, right? They can never do anything wrong. So even if you go and see NDTV, you will be manipulated to think that the current government is not doing anything for India. The current government is the worst government. And even if you are, or even if characters within NDTV, like Ravish Kumar, Nidhi Razdan, and so many other, like they're always brainwashing people against this current government. And the same is on the side of Republic, like Arnab Goswami, or Sudhir Chaudhary, or whoever, like Z News and all, always brainwashing people to go and vote for the BJP, right? All the time, either directly or indirectly. That's what they're doing. So, therefore, it's high time that you realize that these news media outlets are just manufactured corporate entities. I mean, of course, they are corporate entities, but they have one pinpointed agenda. One agenda is to defame the BJP, or the Hindus, or the majority government, the Vedic civilization, and the other agenda is to defame the Muslims, or the Christians, or the Indian minority. So this is their agenda. That is all that they do, the right and the left wing. So both of them are polluted, right? It cannot happen that everything which this government is doing is wrong, and it cannot happen that everything that the previous Congress governments did was also right or wrong. It can't happen, right? So there is no media outlet which will help you to analyze by facts, even if they say we are using facts to analyze, but they are actually they are using those facts only which will support their identity, their ideology, sorry. Okay, so you will never find any one single person who is unbiased. Never, never, never. Anybody in YouTube or news who is talking of politics, you won't find a single personality who is unbiased. So watching them and fighting over right wing, left wing, BJP, Congress, India, Pakistan, or in America, we have, the Democrats and Republicans, Donald Trump, Joe Biden. Yes, all these fancy people who we have no control over, right? So instead of discussing about who is going to win the 2024 elections are there in 2024 in India and also in US, right? So we have this one life. It is up to us to decide. Do we want to waste the remaining years of your life? Already half of the life is gone, right? Most of you are in your 20s or 30s, right? Or maybe in your 40s. So how many years have you left, right? Do you have left? So it's up to you to decide. Do you want to do me keep thinking of all this, politics, who is winning where, and then you will have very less free time available. Then you will run into this mess. Okay, so who had asked this question? Laggard in love. So yeah, so when you elevate yourself spiritually, then your waste time will reduce, and you will do good things actually, right? things which will help you in your career, in your relationships, marriage, which will help your family members, who will help your health, your spiritual community, which will help the entire world, right? Then you will automatically be able to draw the line and know when to do what and when not to do what. Okay. Oops, 1 hour 49 minutes, 10 more minutes, and I will proceed. Babuta Malika is saying, "Oh, Malika ji, thank you very much. Thank you so much for enlightenment. Thank you, Malika ji. Good to see you here." Prem Singh is saying, "Sir, tonight I am happy to listen. My name from you. Okay, good night. मारवाड़ राजस्थान आवो कभी दाल बाटी खाने खाते हैं डेफिनेटली प्रेम जी sometime कभी आएंगे. I had visited Rajasthan in 2005. In fact, during this Dasera time, I had visited. It was really amazing place. I could not visit the so many places. I could only visit Jaipur. But yeah, hopefully someday in future, God willing, I will visit. Abhishek Sinha, sir, your transit videos are very good. Please continue to upload videos when you feel things have changed around us. Thank you, sure, definitely. Manjari Joshi is saying thank you very much. Thank you so much for your precious time and advice. My pleasure, Manjari ji. Monica Sharma is saying shifting to many things in life as professional, career, and personal life, but things are not clear. Please share some remedy for making house or career. You can do the money remedy that I have. That will surely help you financially. Janvi is saying good, great, keep it up. Abhishek Sinha is saying thank you very much. Malika ji is saying I have one question. Apart from Ravana and Kumbhakarna, all members of Ravana and company got moksha. So it was the Punya karma or God mercy. So the thing is, uh, most of the members of Ravana's family, they have either been killed by Lord Ram or Lakshman or by any of their great devotees. So they must have definitely attained higher destinations. But having said that, we also have to understand that they lived very bad lives. Okay. So yeah, and in context of Ravana and Kumbhakarna, they are Jay and Vijay themselves. So they took birth again as Dantwakra and Shishupal. Okay. Priya Srivatsa is saying, when we watch TV, are we accumulating any bad karma if there's any violent scenes? Well, I don't know if we accumulate karma just by seeing, but I think in Kali Yuga you also really need to do something, right? But the problem is if you keep seeing, see anything that you keep hearing, you keep seeing, you keep hearing, you keep talking, it becomes very easy for you, right? If you keep hearing about Lord Ram and Ramayana, Ramayana will become something which is effortless for you. You can very easily talk for hours, right? So similarly, if you are seeing bad scenes, right, violent scenes, doing violence will become very easy. It will start to feel as if it's normal, right? Now you may say, "Oh, but I will not go and murder somebody," right? I have that much sense control, but you may commit some form of violence. May not be physical, it might be mental or intellectual or verbal violence towards your spouse or your mother, father, your friends, your colleagues, your boss, or your juniors, your subordinates, or your brother, sister, anybody, right? So whatever goes in will come out. So whatever goes in will come out. Okay, my guru used to say that whatever goes in through this and this always comes out through this. Okay, so therefore eventually you will end up accumulating bad karma by doing things which are not good. Okay, so stay away from the TV. Monica Sharma is saying, wanted to ask you one thing. Is it that if someone wake up after sunrise, what does it mean? Depends on kundli or karma. See, at one level, you can say, why only getting up in the morning? Right? Anything can be, part of kundli or karma or whatever. There are so many things which you can see. But always remember, Krishna says that the mind can be controlled by two ways. Okay. Um, he says practice and detachment. Okay. Tyaga and abhyas. Yes, these are two ways by which you can train the mind. So Monica ji, if you are having trouble getting up in the morning, irrespective of what your kundli says, suppose you get up after sunrise, so you get up at 7:30. Then from tomorrow you take a resolution for the next 1 week. I will get up at 7, which means you also sleep half an hour earlier. Okay. After 1 week you shift it to 6:30. Okay. Then you shift it to 6 or 6:15. Okay. Then from 6 you directly shift it to 5. You will be able to do it. You don't have to keep going half an hour, but initially you have to do, like, you have to train your mind. Okay, half an hour earlier, half an hour, it could be 15 minutes also. So when you say that from 7:30 I'll get up at 7, do it consistently for 7 days. Okay, then you will get that confidence. Or do it for 1 day, then do it for 2 days, 3 days, like that. You do it gradually, you do it. Vedic astrology, Priya Sivasa, tell live vision. Is propagandizing you, feeding with you with fantasies. Yes, you are right. Yes, you are right. Astro Nikhil is saying, so then please tell how to identify the right person in our life during marriage. Is there any epic story from where we can pick the clues? Well, whenever you are picking somebody, like you are about to finalize about marriage, then you always have to understand that marriage is a very long term commitment. Okay, so first of all, um, you should make sure that the girl, so your name is Nikhil, so if you're like looking for a girl, then you should make sure that the girl is coming from a good family. Okay, and by good I don't mean rich, I don't mean some caste good family. Okay, high caste, low caste, I don't mean. Okay, you have to see what kind of a relationship do the mother and father have with each other. Okay, or what's like the vibe that you get when you go in their house, right? Do you get a very narrow minded vibe, or do you get a very bad vibe sometimes, or you get a very good vibe, you feel, oh, things are very good? Because the vibes cannot lie, right? People can't pretend. People can pretend, but their vibes can't lie, right? And also you should look at the girl itself. So in context of the girl, you should be having some decent amount of attraction for that girl, right? At least you should like the way she looks in the photo or in the real life. Some decent level of attraction should be there. um, and your thought process also should match to some extent, at least. And most importantly, your lifestyle should match, right? Your vision. Suppose you are a vegetarian, so it will be not possible for you to marry somebody who is a non-vegetarian, right? Because uh, the worst thing you can do is to expect that your partner will change magically after your marriage. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so in the initial days, she may say, oh yeah, yeah, you are vegetarian, I'll also become vegetarian. But then what I have seen in my experience, after some time, the husband or wife, they again come back to their own diets. Okay, provided they have not elevated themselves spiritually. Okay, and generally with husband wife it doesn't work like that. I mean, this is what I have heard from people. So if you have, it depends on what kind of a life do you want. Okay, so if you want a serious partner who also does spiritual practices with you, then you better search in a spiritual community. Because in mundane societies you will not find a girl who is interested in spiritual stuff. Okay, they will be interested to some extent, but not very much. So it depends on, first of all, are you interested or not? So it depends on what kind of a lifestyle you want. Or if your goal is only to earn money and just stay, then, well, of course, then you can search from the mundane community. You should find, or you'll find plenty, because then you won't have any scarcity. But it depends on what kind of a life you want, and on that basis it is good you decide. Okay, so the lifestyle is the most important, because if the lifestyle is matching, then things will eventually fall in place. If the lifestyle and habits don't match, even if your spouse may be the most beautiful, maybe most intelligent, maybe the most handsome, most smart, most attractive, most famous, most rich, but it will not work because eventually there will be differences in your lifestyle, and you won't be able to stay together. So then you either end up staying together officially, just formally, and there's no relationship, so you are like maritally dead, or you separate and you take divorce, which is not recommended in the scriptures, right? So either ways you are doomed, right? Even if you take or you don't take. So best is to make a good decision before that. Okay. All right, it's 2 hours, and unfortunately I will have to now proceed. Okay, thank you very much, and it was a very good experience to come live after so long for 2 hours, and very good to interact with so many, um, Monica ji and Priya ji, and yeah, what is his name? I forgot, Keval ji, and yeah, so many, Nikhil ji, and yeah, Priya, and Malika ji also, and yeah, Mohini ji, and yeah, so many, Praveen ji also. Okay, thank you very much for joining, and I wish you a very, very, very enlightening rest of the day. If you are in India, it's almost very late, you might be about to sleep, but either ways, I hope that this day was good for you. It was enlightening spiritually, and the next year will be a very good year for you spiritually also. That is my wish, my prayer, and my desire for you. All right. Jai Shri Ram. Thank you.